assume you mentioned Lagana. I assume he is who also brought you into NWA. But I'm still interested to find out how that came about, because there were a couple times we had heard maybe you were finished with wrestling, or maybe you were stepping away. How did that all work out for you? I mean, how did it all come together, rather? We know how it worked out. Worked out damn well.
Right. I was kind of phasing myself out. You know, you can still wrestle in this country, and that you can do smaller shows, and people just, you know, they just don't get promoted as well as other shows. So you can kind of run under the radar a little bit. I felt like a round peg in a square world. Professional wrestling was changing. I didn't feel like I had a foothold in that landscape anymore. I was a great, you know, come out to the ring. Oh, we know that guy, but it wasn't the oomph, you know what I mean, that I needed and what I thought pro wrestling needed. So, and plus Harley, his health was declining, and I was trying to be there more for him, and so it really felt like it was the right time to kind of, you know, work my way out. And I was just telling, you know, some of the promoters, I was like, this is probably going to be my last show. Like I don't have the love and the drive for it, and the time and effort that is needed to be successful in this business. And I remember as a young guy, sometimes I would see older guys get brought in, and they would just be so grizzled, and they'd be just there because they needed the payday.
Yeah.
And they would go out and they would wrestle and do just enough to say they were there. They would hustle everybody at the merch table for every little nickel and dime thing. And I was like, if I ever get to that point, like I need, like, please somebody tell me, take me out, and boom, shoot me, just let me be done. And I kind of felt like that's where I was not headed, but I might have been, you know what I mean? Like just wrestling itself. So Harley passes away. And that to me felt like that was the stamp. Like, okay, like this is full circle shit here. And NWA graciously came to Harley's funeral to pay respects. Nick Aldis was the current world champion at the time, and Dave Lagana was there. And after the funeral, they both kind of cornered me a little bit. And we were talking, asking me what I was doing. I explained to them that I was working my way out. And they said, well, we're starting this new program with Billy Corrigan, NWA Power. You know, we want you to come down for one show. You know what I mean? I was like, no, like guys, like that's TV shit. That's Billy Corrigan. That's you guys are asking me to go in the opposite direction. I feel like I'm going. You know, that's work. You know, and they said just come down. He goes, you don't even have to wrestle. Have you produce a match? You know, just your experience is needed in the background. But bring your gear. You never know, right, Trevor? You never know, right? So I said, all right, I'll come down for one show. And I came in and I walked into GPB Studios and I ran right into Dave Lagana first thing. And hey, Trevor, how's it going? Great. And he goes, did you bring your gear? And I said, yeah. I said, I always, you know, he goes, all right, you're wrestling Ricky Starks tonight. All right. You know, so I go out there and I have that match with Ricky thinking like, all right, you know, one and done. Again, you know, I have no problem putting this young cat over. He's the next big thing, you know. And I go out there and have a great match with Ricky, and the people are extremely supportive. Ricky's very respectful. Get done with the match, and as I walk through the curtain, you know, Nick and Dave and Billy are all standing there, and they're like, you got way more in the tank than you give yourself credit for. I was like, thank you. We already got you booked for tomorrow. And it just, I just got booked in.
I remember those tapings. Like, I'm pretty sure you worked like Aldis and Ricky and Josephus. Like, and then another match, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember, like, as we got the results, it's like, oh, Trevor Murdoch worked like 4 matches at those tapings.
In one day. Yeah. And it just worked out that way. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if there wasn't something left in me, I wouldn't be where I'm at. You know, those guys are very honest. That's the cool thing about NWA, and not just with the office, but with the other wrestlers. We're all really honest with each other. We elevate through honesty. And a lot of times when you hear honesty, it's not always going to be something you like to hear. It's not always going to be pleasant, but it's the truth. And it's the way we're going to be able to move forward. I've never gotten better in this business in pro wrestling with somebody patting me on the back going, Trevor, good job. You're amazing. Jesus Christ. You're fucking money, brother. Never. But when the guys come up to me, hey, man, I was watching your match and I saw you do this. He goes, maybe either don't do that, or what about this, or what about that, or you need to work, or you know what I mean? Like, and it's not taking shots at each other. It's just trying to elevate through honesty. And that's, man, that's really powerful. We've got a really good locker room of guys that just want to help elevate everybody. You've got an office with Billy and all the NWA executives that have their ears open to us, which we may not always get to do everything we want, but they're very trusting in us as the talent to go out there and be successful. You know, this is what we get a lot. This is our idea. You do the wrestling part and go make that work. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I can do that. Like that's my job. Let me be the wrestler. Let me make this make sense. Let me try to find the emotional connection to the people that make them want to see more of this and buy a ticket to come and watch. And, you know, Billy and all the producers are smart enough to know, like, hey, we're not the ones doing it. So maybe we need to trust the guys that we've brought in as talent, trust these guys that we have given responsibilities to go out there and do it. And it's a different scene too for a wrestler. You walk in, there's no music, there's no smoke, there's no there's nothing to hide you at all. There's just a ring, some ropes, and you've got 3 rows of people on half side of the ring that you've got to impress. And some of those critics are way worse than having a 500 seat house. You know what I mean? Because those people, they're right there. They see everything. So you cannot, there is no, you know, let's stop and retape, or this is live on the go. You either sink or swim scenario. And man, I get fired up with that pressure, man, because that's some good shit right there. It produces some of the best pro wrestling.